Hello there. There comes a point in every man or woman life when they start to think not about life, but about how they see life. How do you perceive life? And if you come to this point and you find this video synchronously exactly the same time, so this is your video to think about reality, how you think about reality. And for this video, I'm gonna download here a map that really changed my life. I learned this map a few years ago and from actually NLP, and not the usual NLP. Like I read a book called Understanding NLP, which talks about how NLP was created. And I don't remember anything about this book, but there was one map there that really changed my life. And it's called the map of four realities. And if you're gonna keep watching this video, I warn you, it might change your life forever on how you look at reality, how you look at life. For a long time I was going with this map and I wanted to share that, but somehow it was a bit complex and a bit, I was afraid to share it with people. But this time, this video, this is the day that I'm gonna share this map with you, and hopefully you can use it to get more perceptive about how you see life. And let's dive right into it. Now I have here my notebook and I'm gonna write here the map. So while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna draw the map and you're gonna see it probably here. So I'm gonna put exactly, I'm gonna record the screen and you're gonna see exactly how I'll do it, how I do it. So let's start recording the screen. Okay, why is this map so useful? Let's say you work with people, you have clients. This is how the people from the NLP world develop it, because they work with their clients and they're like, let's say the client comes to them and say, I have a problem, I'm fat, for example. Let's say they're a fitness trainer. The client says, I'm fat. Okay, what do you do with that? So how do you help the client to move from the place that they're stuck with and get another frame of view in life? Now, I don't know if you're space holders or you're coaches or you work with people, that can be useful for you in that way, but it can also be useful for you about how you view the world, how you see life. Now, if you notice in life, we divide a lot of things to four. Did you ever think about this? You think it's a coincidence that, for example, we have 4 directions, 4 seasons, 4 elements, 4 bodies, all these things that are divided into 4, right? So is that a coincidence? Let's check it out. So let's start with the map and I'm gonna draw and just make sure it's recording. Start now, perfect. So I'm gonna draw this quadrant here. And the first part of the map is called singular. Why? Because people see the world in a single reality. You can also look at it as like unified reality. For example, I'm fat. That's life. I'm fat. That's the reality. Or for example, God is great. You know, there's like one reality, there's God. Or the truth. People that say a lot, this is my truth. So this is one reality. Okay, so this is one way about looking at life. So I'll write the example here. I am fat, which I said quite often lately. And this is the example. Now let's go to 2. The second way of viewing the life, the viewing reality, is sensory, which means the senses. So in that category, you start breaking things into different elements, different things. For example, someone that says that they're fat, here in this category, they would say, I am 40 kilograms above average. Or like they would say that I gained like 20 pounds more muscle this time. Or like my shoulders got bigger but my butt got smaller. You know, this is like the sensory reality, where you break things into two. Another example for here, it's like it smells bad here, which is a little bit of like a unified reality. It's like this is smells bad here, but it's also you're starting to use your senses. Like I smell something, I hear something, I see something. Like you start to break the reality into different senses. Okay, sensory reality. Let's say the example is I gained 10 pounds. Okay, now if you look at this, we're starting to build this quadrant. It's like a four squares map. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's always going to be built like this. So notice that everything is going to fit in this module. Later it's going to be useful for you. You know, you're going to have this map ingrained in your head. So let's go to 3. And what is the third way of seeing reality? Is looking at reality as a social reality. For example, the client that says I'm fat, now they're going to say my parents think I'm fat, or everyone thinks I'm fat. So they look at life in a social way, what the social reality is, and that's their reality. What's their social think? You know, these people that all they think about is what everyone else is thinking about them. They live a lot in this third category, in this social reality. So I'm going to write here social, and the example would be everyone thinks I'm fat. Cool. That's the third, and the fourth one is, what is it? What do you think? It's metaphoric reality. Okay, let's write it down. Metaphoric reality. What is a metaphor? It's something that you need to use your imagination, your let's say another dimension of thinking, another dimension of reality, where you project something, you create something that doesn't exist in the world. For example, in the example that I'm fat is like, in 10 years I'm gonna be strong like Superman. I'm not gonna be fat anymore. I'm gonna be like this bodybuilder. So that's thinking in a metaphoric way. It's not really about the reality right now. It's more like, how can it be? You know, in like 10 years, I'm not gonna be fat. Or like in 10 years, I'm gonna be Superman strong. So that's the way you want someone would look at the metaphoric reality. I'm going to be super strong. And if you notice, a lot of things that we use with our mind about the future are in this category of metaphoric reality. So now, one example really quick before we get more deep into this map of how you can use this stuff is like, let's say you have a client and they come in to say I'm fat. Then what you can do, and this is what the NLP people do in that book, is they move people across the map. So someone comes and say I'm fat, and they say, for example, how much, when you say you're fat, like what do you mean? Like how much fat are you comparing to the average? And then they say I'm 10 kilograms more of the average. Bam, they went into the sensory reality. Then they say, is that comparing to, let's say, the country you're from, or the people, your friend group, is that even fat? And then these people say, no, actually comparing to my friend, I'm kind of average. Bam, they're in the social reality. Then you can move them into the metaphoric reality, and then you say like, what do you want to be? What's your goals? And then they say, my goal is one day to look like to look like this guy on TV. And then it's like 4. Bam, they're in the metaphoric reality. And all their stuckness, they came from I'm fat. Now there's like, here's my goal. So you can move people. And in your life, you might notice that when you're talking to people, they are stuck in one of these quadrants. And you're trying to talk to them, and they say, no, this is my truth, this is my authentic truth, this is my opinion. Like, they're stuck in one. And if you realize that, you can start in conversation moving people in a conscious purpose, of course, to what you want to do. Now, what's cool about this module, when you really want to start landing it in yourself and understand it, you can start looking at, oh, just a second, the screen stopped. Let's record again. Then what's cool about this module, you can start realizing that all of life really fits in this module. And I give you an example. Let's take the 4 bodies that we have. So we work with this map a lot of the 4 bodies. I discovered that in yoga, but we have now the 5 bodies. And I give you the hint where this map is going. I learned it as the 4 realities map, but I made it the 5 realities map. I'm gonna get into this a bit later. So one thing to look at is the 5 bodies. So let's take, for example, which bodies do we have? Do we have the physical body? Physical body. What other bodies do we have? Intellectual body, right? What other bodies do we have? Emotional body, our emotions, our feelings, which not a lot of people in the self-development spiritual world work with. And what else do we have? That's right, the energetic body. Energetic body. Okay, look at that. These bodies fit perfectly because physical is so physical. It's so like one reality. This is my physical body. Intellectual, it's more detailed. Your intellectual bodies start to break down things. It starts to break things into thought, into patterns, dividing things, multiplying. And that's exactly the sensory reality. It breaks things. Social, your emotional body is so social. It's like I feel, I have emotions. Metaphoric, the 4 world is the energetic body. It's like almost something that you cannot even see, your energetic body. So metaphoric, right? And now let's go to other examples. And let me grab a different color. And let's do, for example, something that is very common is like the 4 elements. So which elements do we have? Earth, right? You go to 1. Earth. Earth is such a like Earth, right? It's such a singular reality. Then you have earth, water, fire, air. You have water, you have fire, and you have air. Now let's think about it for a second. If you would go to water, what is water? It contains memory, right? It's broken down to things. If you look at social, like fire, if you look at like social, what is socializing? It's such a like fire element, right? You go to metaphoric air, it's like almost not there. It's like the energetic body. So you're starting to see things are falling into these categories, not by chance. Not by chance. Now let's take another color and go to another one of these things. So we have the different bodies. We have let's say the different archetypes. Do you know about the different archetypes? There's a book about it, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. And let's take those 4 archetypes. Like, so there's the warrior, there's the sorcerer, like the magician, there's the lover, which I call a pirate, or like a lover connector, actually. That's how they call it in the book, lover connector, but they didn't have the pirate name. And then the king, queen. King, queen. So you have the 4 archetypes. The king, right, is like the metaphoric thing. Social, the pirate is like the person that puts the crew together. Let's go on the voyage. And very social, like Jack Sparrow kind of character. You have the sensory, the sorcerer. The sorcerer, what do they do? Harry Potter, it breaks things. There's spells, there's all these potions. There's a witch, you know. So that's breaking things down. And the unified reality, which is the warrior, just like I'm a warrior, like that's who I am. Isn't it cool? What else can we put in this map? So there is something really funny. So this is an example of how you can actually use this, and you can start putting things, you know, from you in this map. And this is once how I use it. I heard online from my Teal Swan, is one of these like YouTube coaches, about how when we have a pet, this is the pet that we like. This is how we, you know, this is how we choose our partner. This is the qualities that we like in our partners. The same qualities that we like in the pets, that is our favorite pet. This is the pet we would choose. So I heard that and it was like so cool. And then I heard the map of 4 realities and I put them together. And it's like, okay, how this works. So most of the people, they like dogs, right? Most of the people have this perception of just like one reality. Like most of the people just like, I want it simple, just one reality, you know, this is my opinion. They're very much, most of the people are in one. They're in the singular. Okay, now it's also time to talk about it. This is like, we all have all the 4 ways of seeing reality. It's just one of them is always more permanent. This is what they talk about in the book. You know, these like NLP psychologists. So every one of us have one of these ways of thinking that is more permanent, but it also have the other ones. And if you notice, you're a lot of times stuck in the ones that are the opposite on the quadrant. For example, I'm very much in the metaphoric thinking. I'm always thinking about like metaphors, imagination, and stuff like that, like legendary stuff. And I'm always stuck with the sensory. It's very hard for me to break things down. It's very hard to me to see things. There's like, oh, there's all these categories. These clothes are made from this wool. These clothes are made from like cotton. Like, who cares? Like, I hate thinking in this way because my mind is more used to seeing the world in this kind of reality, metaphoric, and the sensory reality is exactly the opposite. So if you're a person that is more like seeing the world in a social reality, it's going to be hard for you to see things in like one thing. And the quadrant that are close to you, you can think like this sometimes, but this, the one that you're from, this is the most prominent to you. And this is how it works. So this is also a fascinating thing. There's a lot to explore with this. I'm not going to cover everything. And so where we were with this, another example, by the way, is that there is this director, Wes Anderson. This is another example. This guy is really seeing everything as a sensory reality. If you notice, his movies is all about like breaking things into maps, into things, into like he's like always showing the details of the newspaper, what was written in the newspaper, like what geographic location they went from here to here. It's like so much based in the sensory perception. So back to Teal Swan, back to the pet thing, where what she said is like, the pet that you choose, these are the qualities you look for in your partner. It's kind of a common psychology hack thing. And I put it on this map, on the 4 people map. So most of the people are in singular reality. What do most people like as a pet? Right, dog. So if you go here, let me grab another color. Take this color. Most of the people, dog. Right, look at the dog is also this warrior guardian animal that guardian the earth, right? We're gonna get to that also. So dog. Then what other people like? You know, the second thing that people like. What are most people have as pets? Not dogs, cats. Most people like cats, and cats are more sensory, right? Cats are more like like more independent, more like that, more like a sorcerer animal. Now, socially, what do most people like? Social, what the third animal? That's right, horses. Or any other stock animal. Like it could be cows, sheep, donkeys, any other stock animal that you have on a farm. Like it's more social animal. They live in a herd, different than a dog and cat. Now if you go to metaphoric, what is the fourth category that people like? They like this, the birds, snakes, reptiles, rabbits, like all of that. So all those like metaphoric animals, the animals that are not super common, they're not the obvious thing to take as a pet, they're more like these metaphoric beasts, metaphoric animals. So even that fits into all these categories. Now, if you know how to use this, if you like an example for how I use this map, and I just, this is just revealed to me, like it's not that I even, like since I realized this map, it's just how I'm starting to see the world, is for example, when I meet someone that has a dog and they love dogs, I can almost guess, it's not for sure, it's always can be different, that they're going to have more of a singular way of thinking. Someone that have a dog, they'll be more like settled in their ways, they're going to be more like one opinion, one truth kind of person. Someone that has a cat will be more sensory, they're going to like taste and food, and like they're going to like using their senses, and they're going to be more like that. Someone that have a horse, maybe they're going to be like more in the social reality, whatever. It's more rare, right? But yeah, it's more rare that people think in 3 and 4. It's more common that people are like the reality is 1 and 2. And you can see this map everywhere in movies and everything like this. But what we like to do in transformation work, and this is kind of the last round of an example I'm going to do in this map, is we like to break down things in what they actually help us in our transformational path. So we actually use this map, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make this map a little bit smaller now. This. Okay. I'm going to add just one more thing to this. There's the map of, let's take another color, let's take green. There's another thing that we divide into 4, and this is our archetypal lineage. I'm not going to get to this, there's another video about this, but I'm just going to write the archetypal lineage here. And the archetypal lineage is the first one is an Earth Guardian. And look how easy it is for me to explain right now the 4 things. Half of the map is already done when you have this map in your head. So if you watch this video, let me know, put it in the comments and talk to me about it. So next time I can know you already have this map, and it's a shortcut for us to think much faster together. So there's the Earth Guardian, that's the first lineage, like someone that is like protecting the game world, protecting like, they're the one that will tell you like take off your shoes at the entrance to a place, because they're guardian of the place, of the space. In the second we have Earth Guardian, we have game world builders, we have village weavers, and we have evolutionaries. These are the evolutionaries. If you met some evolutionaries, they are some of the sorcerers of the world. They're helping people, taking people into processes. And the social reality has the pirate, right? I actually call this a pirate, but we call it also a village weaver. The person that actually lives in this social reality, and archetypally, like their mission here in the world is to connect to that, and that's so aligned with the reality. The way they see reality is social, so the way they come here to the world to serve is by doing like village weaving, to connect in villages, to connecting inside the village, to make connection, to take care of everyone socially. They can see like what is the dynamics in the society. I'm like that, by the way. I'm a village weaver, and I like horses, and my element is fire. My dosha, the 4 elements, it's also like in the Indian medicine dosha. I'm very connected to my emotional body, and I'm very much seeing things in social reality, even though I like also to think a lot in metaphoric reality. But that's a bit outside of my natural, just how I like to think. So village weaver, and the last lineage is a game world builder. Voila, you have the 4 lineages. Now we're gonna do something really cool. We're gonna take this whole map, we're gonna make it small again, and I promise you in the beginning of this video, hopefully I'm blowing your mind so far, that I'm gonna add a 5th reality to all of this. Because in the 4 bodies that we work with, we actually, what we learned in next culture, that there is 5 bodies. And what is the 5th body? It's a body that includes all the first four. When they're aligned, there's the 5th body coming to life, getting tuned in. And the 5th body is the archetypal body. So let's write archetypal body here. I don't want to write it up. I'll write it here. Archetypal body. Right, you have the archetypal body. What else do you have in the 5th reality? If there's a reality that you doing all of these different 4 realities, and it's like wrap them around and help you, if the 4 of them align, get you in the 5 reality, you can see is like the archetypal reality. It's like legendary reality. It's like beyond metaphoric. It's like mythical reality. So I like to call it mythical reality. And we take again the purple, and you can only perceive it if you have mythical reality. If you have the 4 realities understood, right? To understand the 4 realities is more like an intellectual thing. So you have, if you understand the 4, you can see the mythical part of life. And this is stuff that, you know, when you get the Bible and you hear about all these legends, maybe in your tradition, whatever tradition you come from, you hear all these legends. They always talk to your mythical body. They talk about you in a mythical reality. They're trying to talk to your archetypal body. They're trying to activate your mission here in life. They're trying to make you see the world in more than just one kind of singular thing, or like social, just sensory, just every day to go to different restaurants. They want you to connect to the purpose, the thing that you came here to do. They want you to connect to your archetypal body. So they're talking to you in a mythical reality, which doesn't make sense. When you read the Bible, like, it doesn't make sense, but it hits you in a different way. It hits you mythical. And if you start seeing the world like in a mythical reality, you're going to start seeing the world in like your whole life story is going to change. You're going to start seeing yourself as a hero, like as this mythical character that lives life in a more purposeful way. And this is really the diamond, the gold in having this map. And this is why I wanted to share this with you. It's such a great way to see life, because life, all these other 4 things become in line. It's like when your archetypal body is online, the 4 bodies are getting taken care of. You know, because you're gonna go to this festival where your physical body is gonna be aligned by nature. You know, your energetic body is gonna be fed by being in a group of people, whatever. Like, all the 4 bodies are gonna get taken care of. So when you start seeing the world with this mythical reality, all the other 4 realities are gonna make sense, if they didn't make sense so far. And if you can look, there's a lot of hints about this. For example, remember the earth, the 4 elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air. You probably heard about the 5th element. What is that? Ether, right? Ether is here. How do you write fucking ether? However you write ether. That's my attempt. So you write, so ether is here as the 5th element, right? And you heard about it. So people already were aware of these maps in some way. They were aware of this. They just didn't look at it as a map. They didn't look at it as like in a meta way. So what else? If you look at let's see what we have here, the 5 bodies, the 4 lineages. Yeah, so you have, for example, the four animals like the dog, cats, horses, birds, and stuff. You can do what's like a mythical, legendary animal. You know, like a unicorn or like a dragon. Dragon. And let's do one last thing. So yeah, the emotional body, we said fifth body. And then let's say someone, your clients come to you and say, hey, I'm fat, I'm going to bounce, and they're somewhere stuck in these four realities map, and you can take them into the mythical reality path. And I'm going to leave this to you to figure out. Thank you for watching. You probably have a lot of questions. Write them below so other people can see them. Write me a personal message, and I would love to connect with you. I wanted to download this map for a long time. Now it's there. It's out there. Only 30 minutes. Wow. Amazing. I celebrate myself. And yeah, hopefully you're going to enjoy this. I can send you this map that I just drew here together with you. If you want that, send me a message. Thank you for watching. See you next time.